Hey guys, welcome to Post Midnight Politics. I'm E,
I'm G.
and and our topic today is going to be how the negatives of schoolings in the U.S. We're doing the U.S. because we're both American, so we can't really talk on like Canadian schooling or like UK schooling or any other country. So sorry if you're from there, but you might find this interesting anyways. Um, I'll go first. A big negative I see with schools in the U.S. Both like public and private and even colleges is that my first point is more so colleges, but people tend to see degrees like you major in pretty much and what you go to get a degree in,
Hmm.
not as a way to better yourself through education, but as a way to like make money. This is like you see people hating on people who get philosophy degrees or like telling them they're stupid. Like they better themselves. They learn about a topic that they were interested in. That's what education literally is for bettering
Yeah.
yourself and learning about what you want. But people see it as a stupid choice, not because philosophy in and of itself is stupid, but because you're not going to be able to get a well-paying job as a philosopher. That's very much like a you do you thing. Like I feel like it's like inherently like against philosophy to like work under someone. Like it's kind of a very much like think for yourself, figure stuff out. That's also why
Yeah.
like degrees, like being a doctor, getting a degree in like medical stuff. Like I don't even know what the like official name for a medical degree is. That might like isn't like nursing, doctor, whatever. But like a nursing degree or something is seen as like
Yeah.
so good is because you could get a well-paying job as a nurse. And a lot of people genuinely choose to be doctors not because they want to be. Not it's not what they want to do. They just have good enough grades to be able to get into med school, and they want to make money. That's what they want.
Yeah. And a lot of people are pressured by not only their parents but like society to get super well paying jobs that like apparently, a lot of people who have art degrees um are told that why would you want to become a professional artist? It's not going to pay anything. And sometimes like sometimes that's not the point. It's not the point sometimes.
Yes. Um, on top of that, that brings to another good point. Well, not even a good point, a personal story of mine. G here knows. None of you guys don't. Since this is literally the first video. Um, I want to be a high school history teacher. Uh, I told my mom this, and she consistently has told me several times you should become a history professor for college since it pays better. Being a high school teacher does not pay well. That is literally exactly what you had just stated. I feel that pressure from my own mother. So, and that made me literally not want to be a high school teacher for a while. And then I decided, screw it, I'm gonna do what I want. I don't care.
Yeah.
And I also told my mother I was into linguistics, and I, she saw it as I wanted to be like a translator. So she wanted me to be like a translator for like the government or something, because like they make good money. Like a company or something, they make good money. For doing that. But when I said linguistics, I more so just meant like origins of words, like sounds and stuff. Like not really learning another language, like Tom Scott style stuff. I thought his videos are super interesting. No, so I don't even want a job in it. It's literally just a hobby I have. I just like learning about linguistics and stuff. I don't know if you have any similar experiences from either of your parents.
Yes. Um I was told when I was younger I really wanted to be a chef and own my own restaurant. And I was frequently told that I shouldn't own a restaurant because it would just be um too difficult and it wouldn't pay all that well. And if it flopped, I was never going to get out of it. So that kind of really discouraged me. So, I was always told to just try something else. It was really kind of sad, actually.
Yeah, that I can assure you that many different people uh, in the U.S. and probably across the world have similar stories of that, where they were told that they shouldn't do what they genuinely wanted to do and probably would be very happy doing, all because it didn't pay well or it would flop or something.
Yeah.
Um, all right, next point I want to lead into. Basically, schools, like public schools at least, I'm sure there's some private schools that are awesome. I went to a private school when I was younger, a private Catholic school. It was basically just public school, but we went to church on Thursday. Um, it's very much influenced with the idea of kids going straight from school, from like public school, straight to a factory. And
Mm-hmm.
this has been like most people have said this. I'll quickly explain this for you, for those of you who haven't heard this point before. Basically, everything's very nicely ordered, nice straight rows. Everybody's silent, doing their work all alone. If you have a question, you raise your hand. You can't leave without any permission. You have to listen to the teacher at all times, which would be your foreman or whatever the correct factory term is. I haven't worked in a factory because I'm, not even out of high school.
You have to ask to use,
Like
to
the
go relieve
bathroom,
yourself.
literally go to the nurse.
Yeah.
I've heard of like kids that like literally had to like pee really bad and the teachers just wouldn't let them go and they literally end up like peeing in like the classroom or something and then like the teachers get mad at you for doing that, which is just dumb. Like just let the kid go. They're not going to miss out
Yeah.
that much from just like 10 minutes of class. And also, even if they are skipping class, why does that matter? Like I get that you want the kid to
True.
like better themselves, which I know I literally just said that, but here's the thing. School isn't for everybody. Not everybody
It's
wants to go to school. Not everybody needs to go to school for what they want to do. Some people are completely fine just like, just like doing like physical labor
yeah,
with like a
just
family
yeah,
member. And if they want to do that, they should full well be able to do that.
definitely.
And
You
school
know,
kind of, you continue.
you mentioned it was like a factory. My mind went to a prison because that's kind of similar. You have someone overseeing you at all times. You have to ask to go and do things. You're regulated constantly. You can't do anything on your own. They don't trust you enough. And that also relates to the school to prison pipeline that affects POC, mainly Black students. So, you know, I thought that was just interesting.
That is a very good point you brought up, G, on the effects that POC face in this country. Also, another point based upon prison. I know this is slightly off topic of our school that we're talking about, like schooling. Um, did you know that in the U.S. slavery isn't illegal? It's illegal
Hmm.
as a punishment for a crime, and this modern prison system was literally started for capturing slaves. I genuinely think, and it's probably true, most likely, like 98% true possibility. That was a weird sentence, but I feel like it was honestly just so that they could have a valid reason to get people back into slavery. You can literally buy like pants
Mm,
made from like prisoners who weren't paid for their labor. Like there's little companies that do that. You can find those out there. There's so many
yeah.
things like license plates, this random stuff, and I'm sure, and like yeah, uh, prisons might like pay you for your labor, but they don't even pay you like a normal wage.
Yeah.
And their justification is, oh, it's because you're being punished. Like no, just because
Yeah.
you committed a crime against a country does not mean you magically lose your rights of that country.
Yeah. Your punishment is prison. Your punishment is not hard labor.
I actually think the idea of punishment for I don't even think prison should necessarily be punishment. Now I know like murderers and stuff, like rapists, pedophiles, like they deserve punishment, but like I feel like some people don't necessarily deserve punishment. I feel like it should be more so rehabilitation, but I feel like
Yeah,
prison does not at all rehabilitate you.
it
Um,
doesn't.
all right, I'm gonna get us back on track. We can talk about prison another time.
Yeah.
Um,
Another day.
Also, schools like literally aren't unbiased at all. Like they claim to be. They claim to like be trying to, but they genuinely aren't. They always like literally last year in our history class, G was in the same class as me. Um, our teacher literally explained communism to us as when you all work and get all and you split up your money equally and everybody gets that. And that was literally how it was explained to us, even though if you are yourself either a communist, leftist, or even like politically literate at all, would know that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who don't understand, communism is a stateless, classless, moneyless society and everybody's kind of works towards a common goal of survival, and people just kind of, do what they want. Socialism is just an earlier form of that. It's not just lesser money taking. Getting taxed and having it given to other people is not socialism. That's a social democracy. Those are completely different things. Socialism is just like the state still exists, money still exists, but like, you're getting there.
Yeah, I definitely and I definitely think that also kind of relates to a point that I was going to bring up later, how they definitely change history to fit a certain person's narrative.
Yeah. Like, anti were they the anti-segregationists? I cannot remember the name that they exactly were. No, 60s Martin Luther King Jr. I
Mm-hmm.
I like stressed those words weird, but Malcolm X, I were they referred to as black revolutionaries? I feel like I've heard that before. I could be wrong.
Maybe.
Call me an idiot if I am. But we never hear about Malcolm X because he was more so the white man is the enemy, which he's, right in saying that white people were horrible to black people. Not even were, still are.
Mm-hmm.
Even when like now, I really don't think white people should get that upset when a black person is like, I don't trust white people. It's completely valid for them to feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
We only learned about Martin Luther King Jr., which at the time they're like, this man is a violent Marxist. Everything's getting destroyed. But now they realize, oh, he was a relatively peaceful guy. He did a lot of peaceful stuff. He fits our narrative of be nice and peaceful, and stuff will change eventually. Just endure
Yeah,
it. Become a martyr for the cause.
they
And
kind of enforce this whole thing that America used to be such a, bad place, but now it's all better. That's definitely not how it is, and I feel like they are definitely using MLK to fit that narrative, because
yes,
it's like, oh yeah, now everything is better.
yeah.
You know.
And also they make it seem that if like you yourself want change, you should be nice and peaceful, like MLK, which you know isn't entirely true. He's still like
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't even like I feel like he was more proactive than they tend to make him seem. He didn't he did in
Yeah.
fact do like peaceful stuff, but he did like very like I don't know how to explain it. Do you know what I mean? Like very proactively peaceful stuff.
Yeah.
Not like just kind of sitting there and being like I want change, Uh and they
He
make
was active in the protests and definitely spoke out.
yeah, he spoke out, made multiple speeches.
Mm-hmm.
Also and they're trying to get you that so you try and like sit back, be like I don't like this, I want this to be changed, and just kind of say that, but you don't do anything because they're trying to make you think that's how that works. And sure,
Yeah.
it could work over a long period of time, but that's not how you get things done soon and like protect more like black lives, gay lives, trans lives,
Yeah.
Islamic lives, all that. No, you gotta go for it. You gotta be very proactive about it. Do you have a point related to that, G, or should I go on?
You can go ahead.
All right. Oh, so another like forced thing is like it very much like is kind of extremely creepy in schools and stuff, where like you do a pledge of allegiance to the country every single day.
Yeah.
Like you literally pledge that you're like basically not gonna betray the country. And also I know that under freedom of speech you're technically legally allowed to like not stand up or like not say it. Like, first of all, I've seen teachers get mad at kids for not signing the Pledge of Allegiance. Second of all, I've seen kids I've literally seen like videos of kids literally like hitting another kid for not standing during the national anthem.
Mm.
Um, and also another thing about it is that they claim freedom of religion, but literally in the national anthem you're like saying "Under God We Trust," like which is obviously in
Yeah.
reference to Christianity's God. Well, Christianity's interpretation of God, because there's like two other religions that have the same exact God. Um,
Yeah. It's definitely something that it needs to be stopped, right? And the fact that there's an American flag in every single public school classroom They're in the hallways, they're outside, um, and I also think that weirdly relates to America's patriotism on how every single
Borderline
government,
nationalism.
yeah, um, how in every single government building there's always at least one American flag, you know. Usually there's one in like every other room, and I think if any other country did that, we would be off the walls. We would think it was crazy
Yeah.
because
Um,
it's weird, it's creepy.
Now, I do understand somewhat having like a flag on like every single like building to denote like, oh, this is like a government, this is like a government thing. But here's the thing, you don't have to go in every single room, have an American flag
Yeah.
everywhere. You literally just need like one out in the yard. People are gonna get what you mean. People know. You don't need that many, man.
Yeah, like if you've ever been to America, generally government buildings will have more than one American flag hanging, waving, and it's weird.
The car dealerships with like the 100, probably even more than 100 feet. It's like 100. Sorry if you're not American. That'd roughly be like maybe like 35-meter long American flag in the car dealerships. You see those
Mhm.
huge ones?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's mm,
Yeah, it's just like surreal sometimes to just think about it. And it's like this is so crazy. Like literal dystopian novels have done the exact same thing as this, and we're like, that's insane. But when it's an American flag, we're like, oh, we're just being patriotic.
yeah,
And also,
like
another thing about the Christianity thing, there's so many like school-backed things that are straight up just like Christian, like
yeah.
student Christian, so like association of like Christian athletes and stuff. Uh, Now, okay, I was about to make a comment about like 9/11, the prayer thing they do every single time. At first, I was gonna be like, oh, that's kind of creepy, but like fair. Um,
Yeah.
literally 9/11. That's okay. If I could understand if we had like not necessarily a pledge of allegiance, but just kind of like a here's a memorial thing. If you like to pray, pray. And also, we're not forced to do that. That's just something that's recommended. I was about to say I didn't like that, but then I thought, you know what? That's actually fine. That's completely fine. They're praying in memoriam of the dead. That's fine. That's like a fine example of it. It's just like a
Yeah.
teacher thing. It's like a teacher that's like Christian. That's like, hey, any kids that want to pray, come pray. And you know what?
Yeah.
That's
That would
completely
be
fine.
adequate. Yeah.
And also there's like signs and stuff of like uh things all around the school being like, hey, join our Christian thing. And it's like this feels like somewhat biased. Like I'm not necessarily
Yeah.
like I can somewhat understand if they're trying to be like, oh, it's just the like major religion, but like even even like here where we live, there's kids who aren't Christian. I don't mean like atheist or agnostic or any of that. Like there were kids who were like Jewish or Islamic or literally every other worldly religion.
Mhm.
So I just feel that it's kind of odd in that respect.
Yeah, it would be different if they advertise all of them, like all of the extracurricular clubs like that.
And I can listen if they at least tried to like advertise them, then they could at least say, "Oh, not enough people joined like a Jewish thing," and
Yeah.
like I just like if there was like at least an option. Now I know like I feel like most Jewish people would be like, "That's kind of creepy," or like literally any other religion. We're like, "That's somewhat weird," but yeah, that's basically the end of what the points that I was gonna bring here. Now I'm gonna hand it over to G to wrap us up with their
Uh
points.
right. I've got a few points specifically about um how school enforces negative things in the patriarchy as well as rape culture. Um let's talk about dress codes. Dress codes are horrendous. You know, you're not allowed to have your like a certain amount of your leg showing. You're not allowed to have bra straps if something, is even within the dress code and a teacher deems it unacceptable, you can literally, go and get suspended for that.
Yeah, and they let the boys wear the muscle shorts with the literal entire like armpit all the way down to like the side out, and
Yep.
like no one says a word, even though that's technically supposed to be banned because they're trying to do better, but no teacher enforces it.
Hmm. But if a girl shows, I don't know, a strap of something on accident, it's all over.
Yeah, if you see any
It,
shoulder, the boys are gonna get so distracted.
yep. Um, and I've got a couple of points specifically about the dress code, about how not only does it enforce like victim blaming, like you can't wear that, it's gonna distract the boys. You can't do that, or else this is gonna happen, and then it's your fault, right? Like those girls get punished for it. They have to go change their clothes. They have to, they might get punished on like their record. That's weird and gross and disgusting. But also, most people, right? Like it's kind of proven quite a bit that like the dress code isn't there for the teenage, you know, boys or girls. It's there for the teachers so that
Yeah.
the teachers don't have, literal relationships or be quote unquote tempted by the literal teenage girls. So I just think that's gross and weird and, perpetuates things that, ugh, sorry.
Yes,
But
I completely
yeah,
understand that.
it's it enforces horrible things and, the patriarchy as well as,
And also,
pedo and rape culture because, you know, it's ugh, sorry. Go ahead.
I genuinely don't see like a genuine reason for dress codes. Like, it's not really like gonna affect anyone negatively. I can understand if like they don't want a kid having a shirt that says "fuck." Like, I get that.
Yeah.
Like, I get that. That's fine. That's whatever. But like, if they're just showing their shoulder, who cares? Some people,
Yeah.
in like a lot of places, when it gets hot, people wear sleeveless shirts. It's not that big a deal.
Mhm.
You don't walk around outside and see like a girl with a sleeveless shirt and go, "Man, I'm horny." Like, you don't. No, that's dumb. Doesn't really make
Yeah.
sense.
And it also it also tells like young high schoolers that, oh, if you see someone with their shoulders out, you should be tempted by that. That literally, um if you cover those things up, then as soon as they see those things, it's perpetuating like, oh, I want that now. Even though that's not how most people think, that is how a large portion of people have been like, I guess, conditioned to think. Cause like, I mean, that's a whole nother topic about how
Like,
the only reason like boobs are considered sexual is because they're covered up, right?
yeah,
Yeah. So if those things keep going on long enough, it could potentially be disaster.
uh, all boys in the future will have shoulder kinks. That is the
Yep,
capitalist agenda. Um,
exactly.
so you talking about the thoughts of like teenage boys being affected, kind of somewhat made me think of boys' locker rooms in sports. All right, so I ran track. For those of you who don't know, which is all of you, um, in the locker room, people would just send like the would just like say really weird things. All right, so it was a joke that I had like a huge like butt. And it's not a lie, I do. I'm just very naturally like muscular from like the waist down. So I had like a huge butt, and like random dudes like on the football team that I didn't even know while we were like changing would just come up while I was tying my shoes and just smack my ass. It was like really creepy and weird. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, like and also like literal like low key like sexual assault went down in the locker rooms, but it was like, haha, this is just a joke. Like they'd like fake rape where they'd literally like grab like one of the new boys on like the team or something, and they'd like grab you or something, and then just start humping. They wouldn't like actually like do any contact. They just like do it, and then like force your legs apart. But that was just kind of
good.
creepy to watch at times. So every now and then a boy would like whip out his balls, not his not the dick, just the balls. Um,
All right.
and also one time when I was in the locker room, a boy just walked up to me and showed me his phone, and on the phone was a video of a man cutting off his own penis, and it was like,
That's nice.
yeah. What else? One time they were showing around like just porn of like a trans woman, and they're just being very transphobic about it. And I told them that beforehand that I was bisexual, and they're like, yeah, I bet you liked that a lot. And it's like, ugh. It's one of
Oh
those things
no.
where I really didn't feel like going into a huge discussion about how it's not gay to like a trans woman, but it's like I'm not gonna get through with them. They're not gonna
Especially
get it.
where we are.
Yeah. Um,
Ugh.
and just like seeing like videos of gore had become very normalized. I've been shown videos of just guys getting like a guy getting their leg uh lopped would be the correct term because it was blunt force lopped off by a car, and like I saw him like crawl around on the ground afterwards. Uh,
Ow.
yeah, a lot of just crazy stuff went down.
Ugh, I wouldn't want to be in
In
there.
school, kind of like if you just genuinely just want to do like a sport or something, you have to experience that.
Yeah.
Because like here's the thing is that some kids like just like learn like, oh, this is just what happens, and they just do it over
Mhm.
it's getting perpetuated through that, and it's just like, ugh, gross, you know.
Mhm.
All right, you continue on with your points, G.
Um. Also, kind of feeding off of what you said, about the locker room. There's weird power dynamics that are in school that go completely unchecked. That are weird and you know, there's always, the popular kids or the non-popular kids. Um, you know, and of course people do tend to like naturally clump together in groups, but the way school handles it is so odd and so it's almost barbaric like when you think about it how the social ladder, you know, excuse me, um, you know, how it's so obvious when students have influences over the teachers because you can see that and how they have influences over other you know
Kids.
students, yeah, other over other students as well as everything else, and that goes completely unchecked in school because it's just like, oh, it's a it's a teenage thing, drama, whatever. No, that's not drama. That's social hierarchy
And
being
abuse of their
installed. Yeah,
like standing on the social ladder and stuff.
yeah, being installed, and
Like it's genuinely such a toxic environment. That's so many kids are like I don't get why people are like this. These are going to be the best years of your life. Like I genuinely think they're looking through it through rose tinted glasses. Because I just remember
yeah,
being a dumbass with their like group of friends, but like it was not like now when I'm like going through this, it definitely is not good. I'm very
yeah,
glad that I know for a fact I'm not going to peak in high school at least.
yeah. Um, there's like a reason most people thrive after high school because it's so toxic. And even the teachers are toxic. Like you could have a really, really good school and the teachers would still be toxic and there would still be that, hierarchy there.
Now there were some like cool teachers. Like I got pretty lucky
Yeah,
this year. I
there
got
are
some pretty
some.
cool teachers, but like some of them just kind of help it, just like enforce it. Their little popularity game in high school.
Especially if they're older, like there's something about older teachers that they love, you know, the hierarchy and just everything that way. So, ugh.
Yeah, yeah, I get what you mean. I do feel that. Now I do feel that like now also there's always like the teachers that play favorites. Um,
Of course, always creepy.
um, and now I know that it's like a coin flip sometimes. Either teachers will be super hard on their own kids or just let them do whatever the hell they want. Both of
Oh
them
yeah.
isn't good. They should just treat them equally.
I've never like met a student, right? Like whose teacher whose parent wasn't a teacher, who wasn't at the top of the social hierarchy.
Yeah, like
Like,
them being with the teacher gets them higher up. You know.
yeah, and they're able to, leave class when they want.
They also do
And
it to like get themselves. So I've heard of kids basically having their parents as a teacher, where they like have them go into the system and like check what classes everybody's in earlier, and they will change
oh,
around their stuff. They get like first pick because the teacher is able to do stuff for them. You know?
oh goodness.
Yeah, I've had that before.
And also because their parents are a teacher, they can influence their grades
Yeah, yeah,
because if the teachers are friends or, you know, if there's any sort of connection there, the student is definitely having an advantage.
yeah. Um, It's like, okay, I get that parents genuinely don't want their kids to fail. I get that. I get how a
Mhm.
parent would feel about that. But like, you don't get to go through your little nepotism thing. That's not the correct use of the word, but a little favoritism thing, and like, uh, make sure that your kid does well by giving them extra credit. Cause like, there are some teachers that don't really have a consistent grading scale. They just kind of give it how they feel. And if they like keep that up, by the time their kid comes in, nobody will like bat an eye if that kid just does better, you know. And all they have to do
Yep.
is just they don't really have to assign anything in particular. Like they can assign whatever they want as long as it leads into the test. So what ends
Mhm.
up happening is that they could very easily just oh my god, some dust just fell into my computer. All right, whatever. Uh, I guess I can clean it out later. Um, I'm sorry, what was I saying? I was talking about being able
Uh,
to like edit your kids' grades through having a non like organized grading manner. So yeah, you can just do
yes.
that. You can like they can just do that if they feel so inclined. Um, I feel like we've been on this bit for a while. What's your next point?
So my point is on how students who have been affected by, ill-fitting or bad teachers generally aren't accommodated for it or, believed by it, like believed by teachers, other teachers, or, the principal or whatever. They aren't believed. And even if they are, nothing's going to be done about it
Yeah,
because
who
it's
would
just
trust
gonna be in a one.
student over teacher?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I think that's really messed up because it's not right. Like it kind of tells students that your opinion doesn't matter because this person is older than you and
Yeah,
or
and like
more
I
power.
always hate that so much. Like how older people must always have like your respect, regardless of them
Yeah,
being stupid. Like I don't think you earn respect due to age. I feel like you earn it due to your actions and how you treat me and
yeah,
others.
yeah. And it's weird. Just like everything else.
Everything else was school.
Yep.
Um, Well, we're getting close to our time for our wonderful talk today. Uh, G, do you have any like last things to say about our points today?
Um, School should be completely reformed.
Yeah, there definitely should be a hard education reform. It's
Yep.
like we made our points on why we thought so, and
Yep.
just negativities about it. So well, I hope you guys enjoyed our wonderful first episode. There's no schedule. We just get bored and make these.
Yep.
I hope all of you guys enjoyed this, and we'll see you in the next time. I've been E,
I'm G, I guess.
and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.